Indecision is rarely loud. It does not announce itself with chaos. It appears quietly, in pauses that linger too long, in choices postponed until they dissolve on their own. Some people live inside this space, wanting yet uncertain, drawn forward yet unable to name where forward truly is. They sense something missing, but when asked what they want, language fails them. This is not confusion of intelligence. It is confusion of alignment, a subtle fracture between desire and permission, between impulse and safety. Often these individuals learned early that wanting came with consequences, disappointment, conflict, withdrawal of love. So the self adapted, it learned to soften preferences, to blur edges, to delay decisions until urgency faded. Over time, this becomes an identity, the one who is flexible, easygoing, open. Yet beneath that openness lives a quiet grief, the feeling of being slightly out of step with life. Choices feel heavy because each one threatens loss. To choose is to exclude. To decide is to risk being wrong. So indecision becomes shelter, a place where nothing is fully claimed, but nothing is fully lost inside. At the root of chronic indecision lies a nervous system trained for caution. When environments are unpredictable, certainty feels dangerous. The mind learns to scan endlessly, searching for the safest option rather than the truest one. Psychologically, this pattern reflects a conflict between desire and fear. Wanting activates vulnerability, choosing activates responsibility. Both awaken memories of regret, judgment, or consequence. Neuroscience adds another layer. Decision-making requires integration between emotional and rational centers. When anxiety dominates, the brain delays commitment. Dopamine drops, cortisol rises. The body interprets choice as threat. Indecision, then, is not a lack of motivation. It is an overload of significance. Every option carries imagined futures, imagined failures, imagined selves that might be lost. Internally, resistance forms. A voice urging movement meets another urging restraint. One says choose, the other says wait. The stalemate preserves safety, but erodes clarity. Over time, the self becomes fragmented, preferences blur, desire quiets. Not because it disappears, but because expressing it feels unsafe. The person no longer trusts wanting itself, and hesitates in silence, suspended between options and outcomes endlessly, without resolution or relief inside. The shift begins not with certainty, but with awareness, a quiet noticing of how much energy indecision consumes, how avoiding choice also shapes a life, invisibly. At some point, the individual senses a deeper truth, that desire does exist. It has simply been muted by fear. That wanting is not reckless, it is information. The turning point is gentle. Instead of demanding clarity, the mind allows curiosity. Instead of urgency, it allows patience. Choices stop being verdicts and become conversations with the self. Healing does not mean immediate decisiveness. It means tolerating the discomfort of preference, allowing one option to feel warmer, even if imperfect, letting disappointment be survivable. Integration unfolds slowly, decisions grow smaller, boundaries clearer. The self learns that choosing does not erase possibility, it reveals direction. In this space, indecision loosens its grip, not because fear disappears, but because trust grows louder. Trust in resilience, trust in repair, trust that a wrong choice is not an ending. The story closes softly, with movement replacing paralysis, with desire reclaimed, not as demand, but as guidance. A compass rediscovered, pointing inward, steady human. Sometimes clarity arrives when wanting is finally allowed to speak. Let this reflection remain open, without forcing answers.